Our headliner tonight is Carter Null. Carter is a Fisher, a freshman at Fisher's High School. He earned an A. Oh, I had it right. Sorry. I don't know why I thought that. Okay. He earned an A+ in the first ever Sparks Present Tiger Talks, a TED Talk inspired event at Fisher's High School in November of 2017. Carter enjoys writing, analyzing literature, recording original music, and performing. Let's all give a big Sparks welcome to Mr. Carter Null.
Hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to be telling you guys about my strange relationship with this ceiling fan. The title of my speech is Life from Under the Ceiling Fan. And, all right, so I'm going to get into this. And before I start, I just want to say, I'll get back to this, but I didn't want to come here today. I had a panic attack yesterday when I was going to Qdoba, and this speech is about mental stability. And for reasons I'll get back to, I did come. And so anyways, well, thank you. My story starts off 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, I guess, as a freshman, standing under the ceiling fan in my bedroom on a folding chair. I was going to hang myself. And at this point in my life, I'd lost about 20 or more pounds over the course of like half a semester. And I was so depressed and suicidal that I was just sort of giving up. And I hadn't spoken with anyone about these things, and that's really what ended up getting me there. And so there I was, and when I was fashioning a noose from things I'd taken from behind my TV, I saw something that I will never forget. None of this is hyperbole or exaggeration. This is all very true. I saw my face in the TV looking back at me, and it struck me as another person, but someone who was afraid, and someone who needed help, and someone who was malnourished, but in a terrible place. When you're suicidal, you often forget that you're a person, because no one would wish that on anyone else, just as we're all people. And when I saw that, I decided to step down. And that was the day I decided I was going to transfer to Fisher's High School. The plan here was that if I didn't enjoy it, I was going to actually go through with it. And fortunately for me, when I did transfer, I was met by the best high school experience I could ever hope for. I was embraced by the school. I was making friends. I was really coming out of my shell. I had plans on the weekends, and I felt like I belonged somewhere. And I thought I was done and that I had treated my problem, but I hadn't, because I still hadn't done the most important thing. And around winter time of that year, I started feeling suicidal again. And this was a horrible disappointment to me, because I felt like I'd let myself down and that guy from the TV screen. And I felt like I have what I wanted. I have friends now, and I have all these great things, and I can't even enjoy them, you know? Is there any hope? And so I was getting worse, and one night I did the smartest thing I've ever done. As Helen Keller put it, I broke through my isolation, and I spoke out. I told my mom about how I was feeling, about how I was feeling suicidal and how I'd felt suicidal before, and about freshman year. I talked about the kids who'd bullied me when I was younger, how I felt like I was an outsider. And this really saved my life, because when you don't reach out to people and you just live inside a sick head under the force of a calling ceiling fan or whatever else is causing these issues for you, you're free to think anything you want. You're really at the mercy of the beast. You can convince yourself that the world would be better off without you, that everyone meets at a secret club on Wednesdays to plot ways to destroy your life, that the whole world would be better off without you and you'd be better off without it. And this is not true. When I reached out, not only to my mom, but to my family, all of everyone, you know, my friends, and even sometimes teachers and counselors, or sometimes total strangers, I was met with something beautiful, and that is what the hope in all people. No one wants another person to be hurt. Whether we think about it or not, everyone cares about each other. No one wants to cast these horrible things onto someone. Maybe it's someone you don't see every day and you work and they work at the cubicle next to you and you never quite see them, but you know they're there. Maybe it's someone who's, well, none of you are in high school, but if you were, maybe it's someone who's in your 7th hour class, you've never spoken to them. But everyone can be going through things, and when they reach out to you, they're always met with what you give them. You know, I didn't want to hang that poor kid under that ceiling fan with his bony white face and hopelessness. I didn't want him to die, and when I reached out, people didn't want me to die either. And that's incredible. But this idea of communicating, as it's the best way, really, to combat things like ceiling fans, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's gambling, or maybe it's drinking, or something like that. Communicating is how you do it, but depression isn't like just a tumor, something you remove and then it's gone. It's something that stays there. The ceiling fan is still in my room, and the goal here is to look at it and see an apparatus that cools my room down and not something else. And though it's not how I feel now, you can really come back to these horrible mental states if you aren't communicating. And that's how I found myself on the phone with my friend Sam, having a panic attack, pulling over into the Wendy's parking lot, you know. And that was the day before I gave this speech. I was thinking I'm giving a speech on mental health tomorrow. And this is happening to me now. And it's because I hadn't maintained this communication, which was so vital and important. The way that you can really get help. There's no other way. And when my brother came to pick me up and I got home and I talked to my family about why this was happening, I saw yet again the importance of that communication. Because I wasn't met with anger, I was met with love, and I was met with support. When I reached out to my friend Sam, I was met with the same exact thing. And I really think it's remarkable that any of us exist at all. Right now, we're all, if you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, we are the product of a couple of germs who perhaps through a comet or a meteor or whatever ended up making their way to a green, wet rock that was circling around this giant orange ball at just the correct distance to foster life, and from these germs came dinosaurs and fish and on land and now people. And that out of all of the people who have ever existed and died, and all of the people who ever will exist, we are the ones who are alive right now. And that's pretty impossible. We have airplanes, we have computers, we have friends and families, and we have support groups. We have incredible things, and we're all alive impossibly. You know, if I made that horrible mistake freshman year, I would not have the life that I have now, and I would not have the hope. I wouldn't be here talking to any of you guys, headlining a show with people who have business cards and a long list of accomplishments and things like that. But even still, you know, I'm 17 years old. I've written 3 albums, one bad one, one pretty good one, and the one I'm recording now, which is pretty great. And I've started drafting a novel. I've written hundreds of poems. I've met all sorts of friends. I had a teacher once tell me, we had a conversation like this once, and she said, I would have never heard your music. And that stuck with me, you know? There's so much beyond a dreadful tomorrow, so much beyond these ceiling fans that we see. And once we make it past there, we get to great things and great lives like this one. And I think especially in the context of all of us being mortal people who somehow ended up in the same place in the same point in time, I think that's incredible. And I wouldn't trade that for anything, you know? We're all essentially, as mortal beings, we are people who are going to die. So we're dead people who have not died yet. And as that works, we are the realities of the individuals of dead people who have not died yet. Everything we perceive as individuals, that's the life that we live, every second of it, and it's limited. And after we die, we'll be dead, And then a long time from after we're dead, the sun, the thing that's like nourishing us now, will explode. Or maybe something else will end the world before then. The point is, we have limited time. And we have a world full of people and opportunities and hope. And we owe it to ourselves, the world around us, the people, the sun, the moon, the earth, time, everything, to live the happiest and most fulfilling lives possible, to never give in to the temptation of looming things such as depression, the ceiling fans, broken glass, cars off bridges. Never give in to any of these things. And the only way you're going to do that is if you believe in yourself and if you reach out and live a happy life under the ceiling fan. Thank you.
Don't, give him another round of applause, but don't go anywhere. Come here a second. Woo! Don't go away. I'm trying to do something I've never done, Carter, before. So this is a really cool kid, and I really appreciate you because the messages that we received that day were really amazing. But when I sat down yesterday putting this show together, I ran a calculator on 5.7 years of doing Sparks, and it just turns out that this is our 200th talk. And so I'd like to bestow upon you a grand plaque for thanking you for bringing our 200th talk to this stage. It's awesome, man. Thanks.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all for being here. Like I said, we're all people, and we all get to share that together. And when we get to come together and speak like this, we see that we're not alone. And it's thanks to people like you who make it possible.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Give him another round of applause.